Hello everyone, it's Silvia from Friday. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the Black Friday deals haul. So it's a bit of everything, to be honest with you, because I did go a little berserk, and that was because I finally got back the money that I lost in the cyber fraud. The bank finally came through and they refunded 100%, even to the single cent, as in even the transaction fees and everything. So I am so very grateful. And I wanted to turn a page on that whole really unpleasant experience, because I am in a new place now, and life goes on, and these kind of things happen to everyone. Although, twice in a row. That was quite, that was quite disappointing. Anyway, we're going to have a look at a bit of stationery, tarot decks, books, and cute things. So let's hope that it's not such a long video that everyone needs to eat and drink, because there's a few things, as I said. So let's have a look. So I just want to start with something that is relatively new to me, and that's I think it's called scrapbooking, as in, but I could be wrong. I'm sorry. That shows you how much of a newbie I am. I'm just referring back to the art of decorating notebooks and journals and agendas. I used to do that all the time when I was at school. I mean, seriously, we had this thing. So in Italy, if you're Italian, you will remember, there was this agenda for the scholastic year. It was called Smemoranda, and that was a bit of a play with words, because memoranda is Latin and it means it needs to be remembered. And obviously, it went well with the school, because obviously you needed to learn stuff by heart and everything. But when you put the S at the beginning of the word, it was kind of a negation. So it was basically saying you should not remember. And that was fun for everyone, and we thought back then it was really clever. So we all had the same, but it was very chunky kind of agenda. And so the deal was that you started decorating your own, and then you passed it along to your friends, and they contributed to that, and they make all sorts of things, and touching things, and writing messages, and drawing, and obviously depending on to each their own skills, like drawing, not for me, definitely not for me. But I was the one that was very sought after, because I always wrote little messages that apparently resonated with a lot of people. And what happened was that at the end of the scholastic year, you had your agenda started, this thick, but it ended up being twice as thick, because everyone was contributing to that. And I used to love that very, very much. But then obviously you grow up and you don't do these things anymore. And now that I see that, yes, well, indeed you do. So I went all out and I bought, this was rather expensive. And I have to say, so this is the Hobonichi Tokyo Metronome cover for the Hobonichi Techo Cousin A5 for 2024. So I'm just gonna show you the whole cover. So this is absolutely gorgeous to me. A, because I love Tokyo, I love Japan. B, because well, you can see, right, there's a metronome. Technically it's the Tokyo Tower, but they put the needle that makes it look like a metronome. And there's this couple, there's a deer and a bear on the top of a skyscraper playing a piano to the rhythm of the metronome. And then there's a skyline of Tokyo, the night sky, and the ocean or the sea in the background. How incredibly beautiful is this? I fell in love when I saw it. It's got two pen holders, which I love, and plenty of pockets. But if you know Hobonichi covers, you'll probably be very familiar with how they are set up. I really, really like it. But what happened was that, and I apologize if you're not interested at all in these kind of things. Obviously, that would that would not be, you know, your favorite part of the video. So I promise there will be decks. As a matter of fact, many decks. So you can just skip ahead, it's fine. But I just wanted to give out a couple of pointers. If you love Hobonichi, but you use very wet inks, if you're a fountain pen user and you use very wet inks, I have to say Hobonichi's paper does show a little bit of ghosting when you use very wet inks. My favorite paper in that case, there's two. There's Midori. Midori is by far my favorite notebook ever, because they open flat, and I'll show you, I have one later. And you can really use your broad or even the double broad nib with a wet ink. You will not have any ghosting at all. It absorbs really quickly. It's a joy to use. I am in love with my Midori F2, so the cotton pulp. The F2 is a bit of an odd size, as you will know. It's come from the word French figure de, and it's just a bit of a different, it's smaller than an A4, but it's bigger than a B5. So I don't know if that makes sense. However, the Midori wouldn't fit because this is an A5, so I did not want to use the Hobonichi paper because I use very wet inks on broad nibs sometimes, and I didn't want any ghosting because I'm going to write a lot. So but the Midori wouldn't fit either, and besides, the Midori comes with, it's a very thick one. I had a bit of a back and forth with someone who I know actually has the Midori, and they were saying, look, the Midori is slightly thicker than the Hobonichi, so I don't think it would fit. So to cut a very long story short, I found a diary or agenda, planner, however you want to call it, for 2024, which is an A5, has exactly the same thickness of an Hobonichi, and it fits perfectly, as you can see, absolutely perfectly, with the Hobonichi cover. And the brand is called Any Day Now. It's sold by Milligram in Sydney. If you are not aware, Sydney has just recently opened a Milligram store, which is the joy of anyone, you know, interested in these kind of things. So the Any Day Now, so the beauty of the Milligram store in Sydney, and I personally don't know if that's a common thing, but for Sydney is a fast. They actually let you try anything on a lot of a sample. Notebooks and agendas and planners and bullet journals and so on. So you can bring your own pen, and in my case I did. I brought my wettest pen with wettest ink, and they let you try, and you see that it doesn't ghost. And so that's something that I've done here, for example. And as you can see, no ghosting whatsoever. And then I started decorating. Now, please be kind, because I'm completely new to scrapbooking. I don't even know if that's the right name for it, but I mean decorating with, you know, like washi tape and stickers and stamps and so on. I'm completely new. So I know that there's a lot of mistakes. Like, I knew I didn't have to go over the washi tape here. You know, I at the beginning I didn't know that these ones were cut out, so I actually used an X-Acto knife to cut them out, which I shouldn't have. So I know that it looks what it looks. I don't care. It is what it is. It's something that I've done. And you know, what I adore is these bookmarks. So this is not a sticker, it's a bookmark with a kitty cat. I just love it. So you just put it, you pinch a couple of pages, I guess, like this. And I have bought, I think, 6 of these. So there's, you know, some of these that go on the side, some of these goes on the top, on the left side, etc. I put the zodiac signs in there, and this is just, you know, my first attempt. And I know that I'm, you know, I'm looking at videos or channels where that's where the YouTuber, that's all they do, right? Decorating journals. And I'm like, I will never get to that. I know that, but it makes me happy just by looking at it. I think it's not too bad, and it's just a start. And so, but this is a very interesting setup. So I love the full page because I tend to write a lot, and I'm really happy about this setup. As you can see, it's tailored for Australia and New Zealand because it's got the holidays. I love the fact that it's got the solstice and equinox, visible meteor showers and eclipses, really awesome. And the moon cycles, well, not really, but at least the new moon and full moon, and that's very important because I tend not to sleep on a new moon, on a full moon. And then it's got, for each and every month, it's got a bit of a monthly, and then you go into the month itself, and you know, and then there you go. And so I've already started writing stuff down on the monthly, and then we'll see. I don't know what I will do, but I mean, I bought a lot of supplies. So just to show you, I bought this. I think about almost everything on Amazon, but for everything that I'm going to show you today, I'll make sure to put the link in the description box below, just in case you want to check it out or buy it. Now, this one, when I saw it on Amazon, I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I really love it. It's got 2 parts, as you can see. There's the second part. So all of these ones are already pre-cut. So the technical term is kiss cut, in the sense that it doesn't go all the way down. It's not a die cut, it's a kiss cut. Sorry, I'm a nerd. Anyway, so it's pre-cut, all of these stickers, and they are really nice. And then the second part is just the whole page is it's a sticker, let's say. So you may, if you want, you may just remove the whole sticker and apply like that, or you might want to use an X-Acto knife or a scissor to just carve it out. It's up to you. The colors are very nice. I love the botanical theme, etc. There's just one thing that, and I couldn't necessarily know. So this has been, all of the sentences here, all of the messages have been translated directly from a different language. I'm thinking because, you know, we will see Chinese characters here. I'm thinking that it probably has been translated directly from the Chinese, and unfortunately, the sentences don't make any sense. Just they don't. I mean, if it's just one keyword, of course, it's fine, or a gift of flowers, that's, you know, absolutely. But when it's a full sentence, it's just once we dreamed that we were strangers, we wake up to find that we were dear to each other. I get the meaning. I absolutely get the meaning. So of course we, you know, the finding each other and recognizing each other and everything. But if you know what I mean, there's something odd about the sentence. And I'm no one, I mean, I'm not even a native English speaker, so obviously I can't say anything about it. But probably because I'm not a native, to me that sounds even more odd. And I just can't, I don't like to use them. And unfortunately there's a lot, like every page has got at least 1 or 2. And that one was actually not even that bad, but there's others that really don't make any sense at all. You know, paired up with the fact that this kind of cursive is very hard to read when it's small and you have, you know, your eyesight is what it is, in my case. The sun will always appear after the wind and rain, and you will eventually become the light. So I get that. Again, I really get that, but there's something off about it. And again, my apologies if you're a native speaker, you may think I'm being picky. It's just the way my brain works. If there's something that doesn't click, I don't feel like I want to use it. So it's a bit of a pity because a lot of this is based on these sentences, and I can't use it. I might give it to someone else. In any case, this is the concept is very, very cute, so I love it. And then something else is all of these washi tapes, and the loose one, ironically the loose one is the one that I like best because it's these trees in the fog, and I just absolutely adore it. And as you can tell, I'm not an expert on washi tape. I don't even know how to rewind it, for example. Oh well, I'll have to use it. So these are really beautiful, very affordable. Everything that I got here today came with the Black Friday sale, or either on Amazon or any other website or shops in Australia. So yeah, these ones you're probably very familiar, because these ones are also Amazon recommendation, in the sense that, you know, if you type washi tape, these are the ones that come out. And I felt like I really like the geography ones, the vintage theme ones. This one has got a little bit more about constellation, or, you know, the zodiac signs, or the stars, or the map of the sky, for example. And they come in all different sizes, which is really good, because then you can obviously find different uses for them. And this is more like botanical kind of vintage. So I am very happy about all of these. They were so affordable, and I really enjoy using them, even though, as you've probably seen in my planner, again, I'm just a beginner, so but I guess with practice, you know, practice makes perfect. Let's have a look at something else that I got for the Black Friday haul. So as I said a few times, I absolutely love inks, fountain pen inks in specific. I have a collection of fountain pens. Ironically, this year for Black Friday, I did not buy any new fountain pen. However, I did go berserk on inks. In particular, I went berserk on ink samples. Now, I don't know, again, this is from a shop from Melbourne, pulpaddiction.com.au, and you will find the link in the description box below, as always. This is the typical sample they send you of an ink. You can find something like, I think there's hundreds of samples, all of the inks that they have, and on their website for sale, the full-size bottles, you can actually find a sample for them. So I am so very grateful for that, because I, for one, tend to hoard these kind of things. And when you start hoarding a full bottle, you just end up with hundreds of bottles of fountain pen inks that you will never finish, because even if I started writing now and I wrote for the next 100 years, I will still not finish the bottles. So one aside to that is that I actually started printing using fountain pen inks as if they were watercolor inks. It's going okay. It's going okay. So this is just, you know, one example, but I bought, I think, about 24 of them. And so these are the ones that I bought. And let's see if I can zoom in, because otherwise you won't be able to read the name. So as usual, I take a Q-tip or a cotton swab, and then I just, you know, dip it and pass it on the paper. Now this is Tomoe. Tomoe is Japanese. It's a Japanese paper. Tomoe Gawa, so Tomoe River. It's a very famous kind of paper because no ghosting, as you can tell, no ghosting at all. And it's fantastic. It's very thin, very smooth. But I have to say, this is the old formula that was, you know, everyone in the fountain pen world loved that old formula. They now changed it, or I don't know, since a couple of years ago, I guess. And what I did when I heard that, I actually bought a lot of loose sheets from a supplier here in Sydney. until they ran out as well. And now I honestly don't have any new example. If you know what I'm talking about, please let me know. If you are familiar with the old quality of the tomoe and the new quality, let me know what the differences are, because I went online, and online you can find everything and the opposite of everything, so I have no idea whether it's actually better or worse. Anyway, so the this one is all the Van Diemen's inks underwater series. Van Diemen's is short for Van Diemen's Land, and it's another name for Tasmania. This is, you know, the state in which these inks are produced, so from Tasmania. They are sold, well, worldwide, I guess, but they're not that famous outside of Australia. I just wanted to give a shout to them because they have the most amazing colors, and I really love that they do always produce a number of series. So my favorite one is the underwater one, but there's a botanical one, etc. So these are quite interesting. So this if you want to take a screenshot, obviously you'll be able to read the names. But this is going to be a very long video if we go through all of these inks. So this is probably my favorite, the Twilight Zone, which is a kind of a teal. As you can see, some of them have a bit of a shimmer. Some of them have a bit of a sheen, for example. And then, okay, I also, but this is a bit of a mix. So we've got Diamine, we got Robert Oster, Van Diemen's again, Noodlers ink. I have to say, I never give up on Noodlers. I know that there's a lot of people that love it. I am not a fan, but I'm not giving up. The blues are not my favorites, but I do like the Yak Sunset. So perhaps that's where I should focus. And obviously the Oroshizuke by Pilot, sorry. Or Pilot, however you want to call it. The Colorverse. And that was it for brands, I think. Yeah, that was it. So these are the ones that I bought, and I am very, very happy. For example, the Fuyushi Ogon by Pilot Hiroshizuku is really beautiful. I, generally speaking, don't really like gray, bluish gray kind of inks, but this one just looks fantastic. So that was the samples, and then I couldn't resist, and I actually bought a full-size bottle. This is the Master of Art series Van Gogh, you know, from Montblanc, and it's a really, so it's an homage to Vincent van Gogh turquoise. It's a turquoise color, which is basically, if we call turquoise as in teal, this is, to me, this is not necessarily a turquoise. To me, turquoise, the true turquoise is, if you go to New Mexico, there is a turquoise road between, I think, Las Cruces. Is it Las Cruces? Well, let's say in around Albuquerque. And that color is more turquoise for me. This is more teal. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you. So as I said, I take a Q-tip like this one, and then on a new page, I just dip it in the ink bottle. See, this is not turquoise to me. This is definitely not turquoise. It's too smoky. It's a very dusty color as well. This is the first time that I see it with my own eyes. Obviously, I did some research online. I went through a number of websites. There's a couple of websites, Goulet Pens, for example. They also give you a really good review on the inks. So there's a lot of independent, you know, ink enthusiasts, I don't know how to call them, that will tell you their own opinion about the inks. So I, generally speaking, I like to let it dry. Then perhaps if it's not too wet of an ink, I can pass the ink on the paper once more. But then I like to see how it dries up. I like to see if there's any sheen, for example. I like to see if there's, obviously there's no shimmer, we've seen it already. But there might be a little bit of sheen. I actually start seeing it already on the edges here. So this is definitely not a turquoise to me. I don't know why they call it that way. This is a smoky, dusty kind of, not even teal. See, I wouldn't necessarily think that it's a teal color either. It's a very dusty kind of, I don't know, look, I'm terrible with names, so I'm not even gonna try and name it. They call it Homage to Vincent van Gogh Turquoise. That's the official name. So if you're looking for it, this is what you have to type. And if you like this ink, obviously, you know, I will put the link in the description box below. But this is the only full-size bottle that I actually bought, and it wasn't cheap because it is a Montblanc. But then again, I do appreciate a lot the quality of Montblanc. I mean, it's almost as if it were a little jewel. I mean, look at the bottle. It's just absolutely beautiful. Let's have a look at the rest. So another thing that I bought that I'm very, very happy about is this statue. It's a bronze of Buddha, and it's a Thai style Buddha, as you can tell. I have a bit of a passion for Buddha statues, but my favorite ones, and practically 90% of them, are in this position. So this is, I don't know how to move it in such a way that you can see it properly. Basically, Buddha is seated cross-legged. One hand is on his lap in the act of receiving or resting, and one hand is actually touching the ground. Now, this is the story behind this, is the reason why I absolutely love this. And the story, if you're not familiar with it, it's a really touching, very moving story. So basically, Buddha achieved enlightenment, and he was meditating. At a certain point, Mara, a demon, came to him. At first, he wanted to fight him, so he sent his armies, but that didn't move Buddha. He kept on meditating, and because of that, Mara got very upset. So he tried to tempt Buddha to give up of everything he had, with various temptations, like with sex, with food, with gold and everything. But Buddha was unmovable. And finally, Mara was like, okay, I get it that, you might be strong, you have a strong will, but that doesn't make you an enlightened. And so, out of despair, Mara launched his last bullet to Buddha, and he said, who's going to vouch for you? Who's going to testify that you are the enlightened one? Who is going to defend you? Who's going to back you up? And Buddha didn't say anything, and he kept on meditating, but without opening his eyes, as you can see, he just reached for the ground and he touched the ground. And all of a sudden, and that's the part that really makes me emotional, because it's just amazing. Every single living being just slowly came to him and approached him. And every single animal, deers, cows, even snakes, everything just came to him, resting at his feet and saying, I will. So responding to Mara's question, who's going to testify that you are the enlightened one? And every single living being coming to Buddha and prostrating and worshiping him and saying, I will testify. And that is just the most amazing thing. I think there is a video there's a movie, a very old movie. I want to say The Little Buddha. I think it's called like that. It's by an Italian director, Bernardo Bertolucci. And it is a bit cheesy, I have to say, but I think it was from the 90s, and it was okay to be cheesy in the 90s. But there is this scene in that movie is actually really well done. And I really love that scene in the movie. And the reason why every time, when I go to Nepal, I just buy so many of these Buddhas, and in each and every one of them has to be in this position by touching the ground, because it's just something that is, it means a lot to me. I really love it. So I'm very happy that I found another one of my, collection that goes into my collection of Buddha statues. And just quickly before we start talking about decks, I just wanted to show you, well, this is my Bruised and Battle Kindle, but basically I bought, let me see if it's, well, you can see it already, the Year of the Locust. And I also bought the North Light. Let me see if I can find it here. So I don't know if you can see it, but basically that's what I'm reading, the Year of the Locust. And then I read The North Light by Yokoyama Hideo. It's a fantastic book, but it is very Japanese in the sense that it's very unassuming. It's very delicate, even though it's supposed to be a thriller, but there's never, you know, there's no jump scares, there's no suspense. Everything is very delicate, very soothing. The themes are very, very important and very intense, and I absolutely love Yokoyama. His style of writing is fantastic. And then I also, but this one is not from the Black Friday haul, so we'll talk about it another time. And I think that's it for the non-decks, so let's have a look at the decks. So the first deck is this one, the Smithway Tarot Deck Centennial Edition in a tin. Now this one is a really cute, you know, very practical deck that is so very cheap at the Big W, and I bought it. They didn't necessarily have a Black Friday sale because their decks are so cheap that honestly they don't necessarily need it. But this one I just bought it on Black Friday because I did go out and went shopping, and I did not have this, but I always kept an eye on it because I wanted a small RWS, you know, very simple, very easy to, practical to use whenever you're using it for a big spread. This is excellent because you don't need the whole table for it. And I really like it. It's also the cardstock is excellent. I like that it's in a tin because I can take it with me when I travel. Even though I keep on saying this, but at the end of the day, when I travel, I take with me all sorts of different decks, and none of them is actually very practical. So I generally don't, you know, I don't grab. But perhaps this time I will. I don't know. I'm not saying anything, so we'll see. So this is one of the decks that I got for Black Friday. Let's have a look what else I've got here because it's a bit of a mix. So this one I was very lucky to find it because it's out of print. You know, it's one of those US games or Los Carabel decks that have been that have gone out of print, and people kept on asking for it. They never reprinted them, and now they're very sought after, and as a consequence they just go up in prices. The Art of Life Tarot by Charlene Livingston. It's a very art-centered, as you can imagine, deck. Generally speaking, it's not necessarily one of the decks that I would actually appreciate, in the sense that I'm not entirely a fan of, let's say, the fact that there's a lot of borders, the white borders. However, you need them because what happens is that you can see the image, which is all curated art, and then there's the identification of the painting that you see on the camera, and then there's also associated to each and every card, there's also a quote. And these quotes are actually really spot on when it comes to the meaning of the card. So this deck, I think that that's the reason why this deck became so famous and is so sought after now, because it is actually very, very powerful. And these are the absolutely glorious backs. And, you know, it is in order because I just want to do a lot of journaling about this deck. I love, obviously there's 78 different paintings or parts of paintings, so you cannot possibly love all of them. And I'm not saying that I do, but there's a lot of my favorite painters in this deck. So you see Klimt, for example, and I really love the associations. As I said before, I really do believe that the quotes for the cards are absolutely spot on. I really, really like it. And they have the same setup, whether it's a major or a minor. So I really do appreciate that as well, because, you know, in some cases that's not what they do. So it's so beautiful. I really enjoy it. So this is, you know, one of the decks that I bought for the Black Friday. This is Etretat, by the way. I'm thinking about going to France in February because we're going to Europe. And I know that it sounds really strange for someone who comes from Europe, but I travel with an Aussie, an Australian, who hasn't been that much to Europe. And so every time that we go, we're almost like, okay, we're going to Italy and something else. So we're thinking about going to France. Let's have a look at the other decks that I bought for the Black Friday haul. So the next deck is a bit of a surprise because I got it from Kigona here in Sydney. I don't even think it's available yet on Amazon Australia. It might be available on Amazon US, but this is what we've all been waiting for. So you probably remember that I use a lot the Welbeck decks. So that Welbeck Balance, it's the producer, the publisher. This is Card Wisdom Oracle Cards by Chad Foreman. You know Welbeck by the other 3 decks, Oracle decks. One is the Sea Soul Journey, which is all a watery deck. Then there's the Earth Blessings, which is a earthly deck. And then there's the Dream Ritual deck, which is also, it's a bit related to ether. And this is the airy deck. So I was excited about it. I knew that it was going to be published soon. And I also know that there's going to be a fiery deck that is going to be published. I didn't know how soon, so I was very surprised when I saw it at the bookstore. Now, let me just... This is literally like an unboxing because I have not even seen any image of this deck before. I just really trust the publisher because I really love the way they're set up, the product value. So we got a 2-part box, we got the usual booklet here, and as always it's very similar. Actually, it's the same setting. So you've got the small thumbprint with the image, we've got the title, we've got a keyword, we got a few sentences, we got reflection, meditation, and mantra. But this is, as I was saying, so they're doing the whole series of the alchemical elements. So they've done the water and the earth. This is the air, and this is the deck. Wow, I like it already. So it's a photographic deck. Now, if you remember, some, not all of them, but some of the other decks have got different backings. Let me see if this is the case for the, yes, they have different backings as well because they do divide them in some kind of different categories. So I just don't want to disrupt the order here, but oh wow, look at this, that's amazing. And this one with the moon, fantastic. So this is their air. Let me see if it gives me that kind of vibe, because if you watch my channel you'll know that 90% of my birth chart is air planets. And air, the suit of air in tarot is the most important suit for me. It really is a bit of a deal breaker. There are some cards that are a deal breaker for me in the suit of swords. If I don't resonate with them, I think twice about buying a deck. For example, the Three of Swords, because I read numerologically, the Three of Swords with a pierced heart is not necessarily what I like to see in a card. That's the number of growth in the suit of the mind. So it should show for sure worries, but it's also, you know, understanding the consequences of you not making in the choice that you were supposed to make during on the Two of Swords. So that I love the numerological approach to tarot because it gives you the opportunity to create a story that is flowing a lot better than just looking at the symbols. I love this style of photography. I really love, I have to say the titles look a bit too bold for me. I would have preferred a different kind of font, but that's, you know, it doesn't take anything away from this deck. I will have to see, you know, what I pair it with. Off the top of my head, I might actually try and pair it with the nature landscape. As a matter of fact, you know what? Because I was still looking for an oracle deck to pair up with my tarot landscape. So let's see how it works. Okay, do we have a winner? Do we have a winner? Let's have a look though, because it's just a couple of cards for now. I think we have a winner. I haven't shuffled the oracle deck, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't seem sequential anyway. Although the cards are grouped in a category, so perhaps I should have shuffled it. In any case, let's just have this. Wow. Okay, I love the fact that the branches of the tree on the Five of Pentacles resemble a lot of the branching of the lightning, you know, in the Enlightenment card. So perhaps that's the light that falls onto the this sense of exile, of being left out in the cold, of having been rejected by the community, and finding there is some light coming from the sky here as well. And okay, I know this card because obviously being in Australia, we have witnessed this a couple of years ago. We had devastating fires throughout the whole country, and I remember, you know, well, actually a neighbor of mine, she was volunteering for the fire rescue department, and my goodness, she was coming back, she was covered in soot. But anyway, there's a lot of areas. My husband actually works in this kind of industry. He's contracting for you know, the government sometimes in order to revegetate areas that have been damaged by fire, or for example that have been damaged by the excavation of the big miners. Sometimes the big by law, a big miner like Rio Tinto or BHP, there are very big companies in Australia. They dig on a place, and when they don't find anything, that by law they have to revegetate. So my husband is actually, you know, among others, obviously, he's procuring seeds for revegetation. So that's kind of that is something that is being doing some work of inspection, because he comes back with photos with trees like that, which ironically, I know that it's very sad, but ironically those are really good photos, because in black and white especially, they're just absolutely superb. But I love the fact that we've got this sign from the sky onto, you know, the desolation of the Five of Pentacles. This is a koala, obviously looking at the tree. So koalas lost their habitat. They're lost because they live on the trees. And, you know, and there is hope in this Five of Pentacles, because there is, you know, this beginning of a new tree, you know, coming out. So and it comes from the Ten of Swords. So I only just paid attention. Hello, there was a Ten of Swords here. I was like, hello, hello. So anyway, from, you know, the touching bottom, hitting rock bottom, you have a sign of hope coming from the sky. I absolutely love this. I did not plan it, I promise. It just, you know, you've seen it. It's so beautiful. I love the keywords, but then again, I love the keywords to all of these decks from Welbeck. I am such a fan. Anything they published, I don't even, as I said before, I didn't even Google it. Because there were only a couple of images anyway, so I couldn't necessarily tell. But whatever they publish, I will buy it. No questions asked. Sight unseen. I really, really enjoy these two together. I'm so happy. And you know what? I may actually try in my December favorite pairings. I may actually try and pair the landscape with the other cards from the other decks from Welbeck. So the Earth Blessings, the Sea Soul Journey, and the Dream Ritual cards, because I think, you know, that they pair up really well. My goodness, look at the shapes. There's so much going on in this pairing. It's almost as if these two decks were friends that have been separated for so long, and now they're being reconciled, and they just so very happy of having found each other again. It's almost the same size. I mean, the corners are slightly bigger in the oracle, but other than that, it's the same size. Again, the only thing that I'm saying, I would have preferred a slightly smaller type of font, but then again, I am someone who's always complained I can't read the titles when they're too small. So I would prefer something too big rather than something too small, because, you know, at least I can read it. I love these two together, so very happy. But we're, you know, it's almost an hour and I still have 3 decks to go through, so hang in there, perhaps have a coffee. It was going to be a long video anyway. I knew it was going to be a long one. Okay, so this is a very new oracle by, is it Blue Angel? By Blue Angel. I haven't seen it anywhere, so I was so very lucky because it was on my wish list as a pre-order, and then what happened was that all of a sudden it said available and it was discounted, and I was like, well, you know what, you're coming to my house, you're going to enter my collection. Again, I don't know much about this deck. I honestly don't even know if it's available overseas, because Blue Angel Australia is the only Australian company that still favors Australia. This is the Maidens of the Wheel Oracle cards by Tammy Wampler, Inner Journeys Through the Cycles of the Year. I absolutely love the artwork on the cover of the box, but that's all I know. So this is not just an unboxing, but it's a bit of a surprise. Maybe I don't even like it. I have no idea. So the guidebook, the usual. I like that now they switched to full color for the thumbprint, and you've got a bit of information. I don't even know if it's got titles or keywords or just, you know, it looks very nice by the thumbprints. Okay, without further ado, I'm just gonna dig in. That's one thing that I don't necessarily appreciate about Blue Angel boxes, but that's okay. And I honestly, I never received any deck with the damage, so I can't complain. It's a chunky one. How many cards is that? Let me just see if it says somewhere. Does it say 45 cards? Okay, thank you, Blue Angel. It's what we like, more than 44. That's perfect. These are the very simple but, you know, functional bags. And let's have a look. Alignment, Alanke. Community, Snow White and Rose Red. I love the fact that they have a braid with both their hair. I obviously need to look at the guidebook because I don't know all of these. I kind of get it now that there's a either a goddess or a person, you know, a famous person. Queen Elizabeth wasn't a goddess, so I'm thinking it's not just goddesses representing or associated to the cards. I love this card. How beautiful is this? She's transparent. So I will definitely have to look into the guidebook, but I don't mind because I love reading, Bridget. And I love reading because I love I love learning new things. There's always new associations whenever I study. By the way, I'm so sorry about the noises in the background. I have to keep, it's kind of humid and muggy today, so I kind of have to keep the window open. And generally speaking, there's not a lot of traffic in this street, so it's not terrible. And oh, look at the whale at the back. Hello. Wow. And the hummingbird. Okay. Oh, and the otters. Again, see how my brain works? I'm like really focuses on details, and then the otters on the side were like, hi, we're here. That looks like a very almost art deco-y kind of art style that I really like, and I'm already thinking that it would pair nicely with an art deco style deck. Definitely art deco, kind of vintage in a way. I love the hairstyles. Oh, this looks like a Santa Muerte, definitely Mayan. A Swan Maiden, the West Wind, the Snow Queen. with the snow owl. Is that the snow owl? I have no knowledge of birds and bird species, so you will forgive me if I'm completely wrong, but I'm thinking there is snow here, so not. I like it. I really like it. I like it because we don't just have the name of the character on the card, but we also have keywords, which is, as you know, very important for me, very important to me when it comes to an oracle tarot. I don't mind. So this is definitely something I'm going to explore. I really like it so far. You never know, but that's definitely going to stay. Let's have a look at what else I've got. And let's get ready for another unboxing, because this is the Signs of the Times Oracle by Crystal Benna. 44 card deck, so that's all good. It's published by Hay House. I know that this deck has been available for a few months, however, I never see it anywhere. No one uses it. Why? I actually bought it because I was trying to find a tarot deck, an oracle deck that would pair up well with a few tarots that I have that may share a similar vibe, but also this kind of graphic novel, almost manga, but I'm not entirely sure, because again, I've only seen 3 cards, so I could be completely wrong. So this is the guidebook. It's in black and white, but that's fine. You've got you know, the title, you've got the keyword, you've got the thumbprint, you've got a bit of information that looks like give yourself a pat on the back for all you have achieved. And then you got additional meaning. That's fine. That's what we need, isn't it? We don't necessarily need those really big books, which I do appreciate, I have to say, of course. So these are the backs. Kind of hypnotic, if I may say. I'm already trying and, you know, tear my eyes away from that, but I can't. Okay, let's flip it, because otherwise it's too much. So I'm loving the fact that it's very simple, almost minimalist. I had a hunch that the keywords would have been very spot on, and definitely I love that. Well, okay, this is a bit kind of an obvious one. I like it. It's simple, it's straightforward. I mean, we don't necessarily need something complicated sometimes. Yes, we love layering, we love, you know, deciphering messages and using our intuition, but every now and then we just need something very, very straightforward, very simple, that doesn't necessarily hide anything other than what you see. What you see is what you get. I like that. Abundance for the cowrie shell. Obviously, you haven't been reading with cowrie shells. There's so many different ways to read with cowrie shells, and it doesn't always point to abundance, I can tell you that. But I understand that. It's, you know, I understand the concept behind it, of course. Traffic cone, caution. See, sometimes we need that. It's obviously, it's a very flowing kind of conversation, and I really enjoy. And now so what I'm going to do, this is only because I'm seeing it here now, but I'm going to try and pair with a deck which is not even mine. It's a deck that I got for a friend of mine, and I hope she doesn't mind. If you're watching this, you know who you are. I hope you don't mind, because I'm going to pair this just to see how it goes with the Cosmic Cycles Tarot. Let me see. So this is the tarot deck I want to pair with, just to see if it pairs up well. And I don't want to ruin, let's just make sure that I keep it pristine 100%, of course, because as I said, this deck is for a friend. So see what I mean? Sometimes you need this clarity, this bold directness, if that's even a word. And I think it pairs up really well. I mean, we've got a conversation here. We've got something. We've got a relationship. We've got, Even the colors are very similar. You see the color palette, for example. We've got the power lines with energy between the Seven of Cups and the High Priestess. Perhaps you should, you should channel this energy by the High Priestess in order to be able to make a choice, just to, make up your mind. Community between the Eight of Cups and the Empress. I love these two together. I think that it's a really good match. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Again, sorry if I'm using your deck. I'm not winning, I promise. And it will come to you pristine when I come to Italy. But I think I'm going to give you this one as well, because look at how beautiful the cards are together. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I had a hunch that these two would actually go really well together, and that was part of the reasons why I actually got this oracle, and also the fact that it was like $20. So, the price always, sometimes the price does give you a bit of a push, the push that you need. Oh, I love this card, the Two of Swords. Skull endings. Oh my goodness, look at that reading. Look at these cards. The skull with endings between the Two of Swords and the Tower. That's just wow. I mean, mind you, I have not shuffled the tarot, as you can see, but it doesn't matter because I did shuffle the oracle. And in any case, you know what, I'm of the opinion that in many cases, the messages find their way. You can shuffle them 3,000 times, and if there's a message that needs to come to the surface, it will come to the surface. And let me see the abundance between the Five of Swords and the Sun. I definitely see, but you see, I see more the cowrie shelf rather than abundance. I see the cowrie shelf related to the Five of Swords. Cowrie shelf, if you're familiar with divination, with the cowrie shell, you throw them as if you were using, for example, bone casting or, charm casting. And you read them according to the way in which the patterns, it's a complex way to read them. So according to the pattern that they form, obviously when you cast them, because they can spread in different ways. They can form lines and conjunctions and patterns and constellations. And also depending on whether they fall upright, let's say, or reversed. And also depending on how integral they are, how full they are, if the hole in the back is bigger or smaller or not there at all. There's a number of ways to read that, but I definitely refer back to the Five of Swords, because cowrie shell most of the time could also let you know that there are energies at play that are working behind your back, and it's definitely the energy that I get from the Five of Swords. And but there's, in some cases you also look at the keywords that tells you abundance. That definitely is a card that I would associate with the Sun, even though the Sun is something referring to a joy that is very coincides in time. It's very limited. So loving these two together. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, because I really believe that I found a good pairing. And what happens in this case is that when I find a good pairing like this, I'm thinking now I'm going to have to buy the Cosmic Cycle for myself as well, because I really love, I love a pairing. It brings something new to my collection. It brings something new to the tarot deck, because it makes me look at the tarot deck in a different way. So oracle decks are very important in my collection, and if you remember my collection videos, you've seen that I have heaps of them as well as tarot decks. So these two really gorgeous together. And there's another tarot, and then that's gonna be it, because this is a very long video. And last but not least, another deck that I got around a Black Friday, not necessarily on a Black Friday sale, but this is a deck that would have been a lot more expensive, but I got it from a lady, a wonderful person that is always bringing a lot of light in our Facebook group's conversation. And I'm very thankful, because it is the wisdom of the Divine Feminine. If you're probably familiar with this deck, and I'm very late to join the party. I know that it's been around for a while, but because of the original price in US dollars, and you know, when calculating also the shipping to Australia and the GST that I will have to pay on top of that, I never actually got it. We did not have, I think maybe one reseller in Australia, but they ran out of the decks pretty soon. And so I was looking for, I'm also looking for the Wisdom of the Shadow, by the way, but the Wisdom of the Divine Feminine is the one that I could have, thanks to this really generous lady that let me have it for a very reasonable price. I am so very excited about this deck. It is a beautiful, you know, wrapper magnetic box. And this is the book. It reminds me a lot as a setup of Blue Angel decks, but it's got that additional element of luxury because it is an indie deck. And we've got, for example, the thumbprint in black and white. We've got the title. We've got the art, so to speak. I don't know necessarily if that's related. Okay, there might be something related to art. I'm not familiar entirely with this. So you probably all know what this is referring to, and you're probably yelling at the video right now. So then there's a quote, there's a bit of a description of the image on the card, and then obviously we've got some information, contemplations and ritual, which I really appreciate. So I am so very looking forward to be, you know, working, perhaps even meditating and journaling with this deck. Really lovely matte gold gilding. This is a wonderful cardstock. I have to say it's my favorite. Let's get rid of the box so I can show you. Wow, the colors are so saturated. They're amazing. I love them. I love the keywords as well. I love the association so far. Mystery, absolutely. It is so very beautiful. I also look, as I said, for the Wisdom of the Shadow. I think that obviously they have completely different vibes. This is more like an empowering deck, a grounding deck, a deck that, you know, can be used for meditation, self practice, for your improvement. But it feels, and the Wisdom of the Shadow I think is very intense, very powerful, but also very raw. Because it is designed to actually elicit that kind of response. You know, some of the cards that I've seen are very provocative as well, and you want them to be like that because you need a whole spectrum of cards in order to be able to cover everything that is part of us. I think that fierceness, this card, I think the Wisdom of the Shadow is like 90% of cards very similar to this one. Really happy about this deck. So very happy that I could find it. And that was it for my Black Friday haul. Now, what happened was that everything that I bought from the US, as you can imagine, is going to take a couple of weeks. As a matter of fact, I think Amazon was guaranteeing delivery before Christmas, but then there was a cutoff, so I'm not entirely sure. For example, I have a few Kickstarter that still haven't been delivered, and I don't know when they're gonna get here because everything slows down around Christmas. It's very sad, really. Anyway, so that was it for today, and I will be very curious if you let me know in the comments below what your Black Friday haul was, because I'm always very interested to see what other decks, what new decks you've discovered and everything. So thank you so much for staying with me till the end of this video. There's more to come. Have a great day.